Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to some sense of normal sort of patterns. We are back here with Coffee Chat this week. We are kind of wrapping up a week that's already happened, which is today we're going to be talking Turkey. We're going to be talking Turkey with Andrew and Taylan, who are in Turkey. They are coming to us live from a city called Mardin. And I don't even know how do you say good evening in Turkish, Taylan? Because I don't know. I'm sorry.
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar, right?
There you go. You got it perfect.
It rolls just right off the tongue.
It does. It rolls right off the tongue. So Andrew, describe to us where you two are right now.
Okay, so we're in a city called Mardin. It's in southeast Turkey. Right behind us, we've got some minarets lit up. If we could turn the camera just this way, which we can't because it's really, you can't see too much. Yeah. It would be this, because we're like up on a hill, so it's kind of like a Turkish hill town. Yeah, in some ways. But if we turn the camera this way, we have this flat plain that runs that's Mesopotamia. Yep. That on a clear day we would easily see the Syrian border and past that. So.
Actually, on a clear day we can easily see the lights of the Syrian cities.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some of the Syrian cities, which I can't really pronounce the names right now, but yeah, you're right. We're looking at a plain all the way towards Syria. We're on the Mesopotamian plain.
Yes, so we're kind of between Euphrates and Tigris.
We're right in the middle of Fertile Crescent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and so we just arrived today here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So just to kind of back up for everybody who's watching, if you're trying to figure out why Andrew's in Turkey and why he is with Taylan, because some of you know Taylan and some of you know Andrew, but they didn't actually know each other. So I've known Andrew for 30 years. I've known Taylan for 15 years, something like that. Yeah. So, and actually Taylan and I have worked together on a tour before. He worked with me on a family tour a few years ago.
Yep.
And so we just kind of thought, yeah, you two should work together and figure something out. So Taylan is going to be running our Turkey program, which is really exciting. We've got 2 itineraries for next year that are going to be super fun. So he and Andrew are working on one right now that's a little edgy, a little different, southeastern Turkey, and it's going to be food and wine. And then actually Taylan and I are going to be doing something that pleases me very much, which is coastal Turkey, because I'm dreaming of beautiful warm seas right now. I was just telling Taylan that unfortunately I can't come to Turkey right now, but I totally would, because I want to go swimming and you have a sailboat and I want to go out sailing and I want to see the warm Mediterranean. But that's how we got this idea, because whatever it was 2 or 3 years ago when you assisted me, we were talking about this, how fun that would be to just focus on the coast, the turquoise coast of Turkey, and all of the interesting cities that are on that part of the world. So I think I would just want to start by talking just a little bit about that idea, Taylan. So tell me a little bit about because you came up with this idea. Tell me about the idea for the turquoise coast thing that we're going to do.
Well, I live on the Turkish coast too. I live in a little town called Bodrum. And that's also the place where the whole concept of touring with a sailboat started, because that's where they built these sailing boats. So you talked about sailing, and I think I live in the sailing capital of Turkey, where they built these gulet type, they call them gulet type of boats. So I came up with the idea because that's what I normally do. I mean, I like being on that coast. That's what the Turkish coast is called. It starts from Fethiye and runs. That's kind of like southwestish, and it goes all the way to southwest and goes up to northwest. So we're probably going to be covering almost the whole southwest corner and west corner of Turkey, because that's where good food, Mediterranean type, because that's where the best beaches, Mediterranean type, and because that's where the Greek and Roman history all combined together is located. But not only that, the whole Mediterranean lifestyle is kind of mixed up. What can I say? Mashed up? Yeah, mashed up with the Mediterranean, with the Middle Eastern style that Turks have brought from the East. So it's a great combination of everything to see. So land and coast and sea and food and history, everything is all included. That corner of Turkey is where I live, and that's what I like doing. That's why I came up. Why don't we do this? Because I really like doing it, and I'll be happy to do it because I like that area.
Well, and you're also like, you're speaking to my heart because I love beaches. I love Greek and Roman history. I love good food. So that's why you and I are doing this tour together, because it's all the things I like. And then you're gonna then also do something that is all the things that Andrew likes. And when Andrew came up with this idea, I was like, you are crazy. But I say that to almost everything that he comes up with, actually. So tell me, Andrew, what was your crazy idea?
Well, my crazy idea was I was always fascinated with this southeast part of Turkey, just reading my guidebooks. And there's all these things I wanted to see. I think I've probably had Mardin and most of the places we've already been the past week kind of on my radar for the last 5 years. And I also knew to some extent that was where a lot of the really good food was. I had, Gaziantep, one of the places we go, is the home for baklava, and it's a big pistachio growing region. And a good friend of mine had spent time in this area like 10, 12 years ago and said, oh, and you get this Arabic taste that you don't normally get in Istanbul and other places in Turkey, because it's a fusion of like Arabic world and Turkish world. So what my idea was, hopefully, because I'd never been here until a week ago to this region, was I wanted not just some amazing cities in history, which we have, and we can go into that a little bit more, and great food. Was I wanted people to get kind of this Middle Eastern Arabic flavor. But I know we can't go to Syria and Iraq and so many places, war, politics, other things. But I thought, well, Turkey is always been this nice, good, stable place. Plenty of people go to Turkey. Not so many people know this area. But if we can give people some of these experiences, that they can't right now get in other places in the Middle East, that would be great. Plus, then we get to see this combination mashup, like Thailand said, of two different cultures, kind of Middle East and Turkey together.
Well, I think that sounds like an excellent idea. The first thing, of course, I thought when you said, let's do this, is like, so you're going to go close to the Syrian border. Is that safe?
I mean, I talked with Thailand. I talked with some other people who had been here recently. We talked with some people in tourism, locals, things like that. And I mean, it's not like we've been driving next to it, like, trying, thinking about going over the checkpoint, but it is. I mean, it seems like things in Syria are, let's say, at a standstill, and whatever is happening in Syria is not something that's affecting life right here.
I mean, can you hear music right now? Are you getting any music?
No.
Right next door, live music just started. Like we have live music right next door, and I can count like maybe 50 people there enjoying their food and together with live music. So life is normal. It's perfectly normal, and it's very safe here.
Yeah, I think tourism came back maybe, well, let's say before pandemic, like about three years ago, because I would be reading, but not, America, this is not a place even before pandemic or before other things that were happening in Syria. It wasn't this epicenter for American tourists, because Turkey's huge. As you know, there's so many places, the coastal part, Cappadocia, all the ruins, Istanbul. So, there's always going to be a place kind of left out. And I just figured, let's put the spotlight on some places that I know some of our guests will really like, especially people who enjoy food. And because Turkish hospitality kicks ass, and I should say that most people I know in Europe who work in hospitality should come to Turkey and see how it's done. So they would give us better service.
No, so wait, then tell me about that. What do you think makes Turkey special from the hospitality point of view?
You know what? Like, people don't seem to be like, yes, I'm here at my job and I'll answer a question. It's like everywhere you go, a hotel, restaurant, wherever, what can I do for you? Hey, you sit down at the table. Here's your water, because we know it's a hot summer. Boom, boom, boom. You're not waiting around like, hey, where's the waiter? Or the guy with the hotel is like, hey, what do you need? Oh, sure. You want to go on that Cappadocia tour that starts in 45 minutes? Sure, I'll call that guy. Boom. You buy a bus ticket from some guy and he says, oh, I'll set the taxi up for you. And you're kind of thinking, in some countries I might be like, this is going to be set up where I'm going to get scammed or the taxi guy doesn't show up. The taxi guy shows up like 15 minutes early because he knows I probably like to leave early. And then actually it's like, whatever, a couple euros less than it would normally be with the set price. All these things, it's just like, what can we do for you, the customer? Like, we actually care. You're here. Most of the places, it seemed like, are kind of family run or at least managed.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everyone better be doing their job and help our customers. And I think you would know, Sarah, it's like, that's refreshing because so many times you're like, do people want our money or not?
You and I have had a lot of conversations about that. I'm not going to specify which country, Italy,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do have problems.
Croatia.
It's like you call and you say, hi, I'd like to bring you 20 customers, and blah, blah, and they're like, yeah, I can't talk about that right now. Call me another time.
Wow.
It's nice to hear that people are enthusiastic.
Here, as you said, you really don't need to use Google much to do stuff or to organize stuff. You can ask people, you can ask locals, you can go into a restaurant and sit and have a coffee and then ask, where can I go get a good kebab place? Do you know a good kebab place around there? But like giving you like 5 different addresses, which they can even give someone next to you to walk with you to that restaurant and make sure that you get good food. That's how it works here.
That's very cool.
Or friends of friends who've never met you who are like, hey, yeah, just call me before you come to my town. I got this whole lunch set up.
Yeah.
This, and this. And, and then tomorrow, like, we can do this, and this, just like, what can we do for you? It's really nice. And I'll say this, as far as, because just to get back to your close to Syria, any issues, I mean, the safety here that I feel, it's as good or better than wherever I would be my normal places in Europe. And probably because of the atmosphere of how helpful locals are, I feel like kind of more safer in that regards. Not worrying about, oh, it's night, or, oh, is this a sketchy area or whatever. It's really it's really safe. And I've been to a bunch of different places in the past 10 days or so. So that's a good feeling to have. They do a good job to really, make you feel like you're the guests, which we are.
So Taylan, is that a big part of Turkish culture to be extremely hospitable?
I mean, you've been to Turkey and you probably experienced the similar things as well. Of course, being in Istanbul is something else. Istanbul's a metropolitan city. You got everything going on there. It's a different vibe. A lot of people out in the streets. A lot of different people out in the streets. So that's a whole different part of the story about Turkey. But when you leave Istanbul and when you come to the countryside, or especially in the southeast, it's like, you're here. What can I do for you? Because you came to experience my culture. You came to experience my town. Everyone is so patriotic about their cities. Everyone loves their cities. Everyone just want to show. They just want to, let's put it that way. They just want to show off, but in a culturally way. I mean, we went to visit a friend at a house, at their house. The friends recommended someone to visit.
A friend that we've never met.
Exactly, we've never met. We didn't need to ask for anything. They brought like Turkish coffee. They brought a fruit juice that they made at home. They brought like the kibbe, which is a special dish, which was perfect, the best that I've had. And it was like a big dish. I was like, you have to finish this up because we make the best in the town. You wouldn't find it anywhere. I mean, they took us into their house. I mean, we never need to ask anything. It was a complete experience that you would just get by saying hi or hello to the ordinary people.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So I think a lot of the people watching either are familiar with traveling in the typical Turkish places, Istanbul, Cappadocia, but you're in a really different place. So a couple questions for you, Taylan. First of all, how big is Turkey? And also the place you're at, how does that differ from the other parts of Turkey that most travelers know?
First of all, size-wise, let's put it this way. Turkey is slightly bigger than, I'm going to give a estimate state, bigger than Texas, smaller than Alaska. So that's the size.
That's huge.
But shaped differently, folks. Just,
yeah.
It's not shaped like Texas. Are you kidding?
Sorry. And we have Black Sea on north, Mediterranean on south, and the Aegean Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean, on west. And it's kind of like a big peninsula. So we can divide it into different sections, but I like dividing it into 4 major sections. Like if you just cut slices from north, south, and east, west, you'll get like 4 different sections. South, west, I would say the Aegean parts, Mediterranean and Aegean parts, that is more sea related, beach related, more I would say more liberal in terms of living as well. Also west, again, northwest, more farm related and industry related, more major cities like Istanbul, Bursa is located. Right in the center, we have Ankara, the capital city, that has almost like everything in it. It's just a capital city, you can call it that way. It's a nice city though. And northeast section is where we have the mountains along the Black Sea. Black Sea is a completely different culture, which you can easily understand when I say it's close to Georgia. So a little bit of Georgia, maybe a little bit of Azerbaijan, but a very unique culture of itself, quite wild nature up there. But where we are right now is the place where we see civilization starting. I mean, like this morning we were visiting places that existed 12,000 years ago. So it is the oldest area. That's we say that the human history of world either started or it has big effects, like huge effects on the whole civilizations in the world.
like Antioch with the Christian. So Christianity, the term Christian was coined in Antioch or Antakya, where we kind of started our trip about a week ago or so. And yeah. Paul was there. Peter was there.
Peter was there.
Then
Peter started the church. Paul started his first journey out of there to spread Christianity.
Yeah, and then the story with Abraham.
That was in Urfa, yes. Abraham.
So yeah, I mean, it's very ancient.
It is very ancient, yes.
And stylistically, I mean, architecture wise, I mean, it's not all the same. It's some places are more homogeneous. Like this is, I would call Mardin City of Stone. It's stone, and Urfa kind of the same way.
Like this is, if you've been to Cappadocia, you might get the same feeling, but it's definitely not. I mean, the houses are built with the same material, but it's, when you look at them, no, it's not Cappadocia, it's something else. This is also because we have a lot of different ethnicities living in the same area, living in the same city. We have Turks, we have Kurds, we have Arabs, we have Assyrian Christians, we have Assyrian Syriacs, Orthodox, Orthodox. We have Armenians. So we even have Persian-related people living here in this area, in these cities too. So each one of these people, each one of these groups are bringing their own culture, and that's what makes this city or cities like these along the southeast much unique. Each one of them has their own kind of feeling.
Yeah, if I could, if it was daytime and I panned around to just like the rooftops and some of the things, I keep saying this every city I go to, is like, wow, it's like they could shoot like the next Jason Bourne movie here, and I could see people like doing the chase across these rooftops, because it looks like that. It looks like, in my head, you know, some stuff from, I don't know, Morocco or Middle East or what have you. But in some regards, a lot of these places have these kind of cave old cave houses or cities like Matera in Italy, or like Cappadocia. So it has a little bit of those flavors too, which it's those are the things I always really like about a region, where it's this mishmash and complete like crossroads of cultures and everything. And that's why I thought it would be interesting to take people here, because it's not the same Turkey of Istanbul, Cappadocia, or the coastal, the Mediterranean.
Definitely not the same thing. No.
Well, and I think that you just touched on that too. I think this is the thing I find so compelling about Turkey, is that just from an ethnic perspective, you have so many different people from different cultures living in one country. You know, like Thailand, if I just met you on the street, I would never guess you were Turkish, because you look very European to me, to my eyes. But then I have other friends in Turkey who definitely look more, you know, I would obviously go, oh yeah, you're definitely Turkish, you know, but there are some Turks that have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? So, and that's just kind of this interesting melting pot aspect of Turkey that I think is very compelling. So you're going even a little further in the area that you are, because you have all these people who come from so many different religious practices as well, right?
Yeah, and like today we went to an Orthodox church, but it was a Arabic Christian church.
Arabic Christian Orthodox.
And it looked completely different than an Orthodox church I've seen in Russia or Balkans or wherever. It's not loaded up with icons. In fact, there were like no icons there, and they had, you know, they didn't paint all the walls inside. No. They just had a few paintings, and they had this like, what was it?
Tapestry,
this tapestry with this kind of like a painting that my wife would paint. Sarah, you know, it was like that kind of like naive style art in this Orthodox church,
almost abstract.
Yeah, and you would never. It's like completely different, and of course, like they've this Syriac Christians are they're you know, their lifestyle and their culture around there is got to be different than what's in Russia or Bulgaria or Serbia or whatever. So even the churches might be the same denomination, they're completely different than what I'd seen in Europe.
Very hardworking people here. I can definitely say they're very hardworking people here. I mean, and they're very proud of it too. That's why the city has a interesting vibe during daytime, even during weekdays. And one of our locals was mentioning, during weekdays we work a lot, but during weekends we eat a lot. We're out in the street, we go eat in these restaurants, we go picnic depending on the season. So what I want to express here is that there is an interesting vibe here, and it always touches you always find something that touches to yourself, something appealing for yourself personally.
And
so
it's very light.
You guys are like fire and gasoline essentially, right?
Fire and gasoline. Yeah,
putting you two together was sort of like a good call, I guess. So so tell me about all the things you have been eating and the experiences you're excited about sharing with people. Where to start? Oh, that laugh tells me that there are more stories I haven't heard yet.
Yeah. Well, we've been eating a lot of Kibbe. So what do you call it in Turkish?
So Kibbe is you explain what it is. Kibbe is içli köfte in Turkish.
Yeah. It's like a cylinder shape that's this dough that could be, well, we know it could be done lots of different ways, fried or boiled or baked.
But it's dough made with very fine bulgur.
Yeah, bulgur dough. It almost looks like a corn dog without the stick. But don't worry, folks, there's not a hot dog inside. And then they grind up beef and spices and nuts and things like this. If you've been to a Lebanese restaurant anywhere in the U.S. or wherever, you probably have had it before. It's one of those things that I really like. And I said, hey, Thailand, like I know we're gonna eat a lot of food, but make sure we get some Kibbe. So like the first full day of us joining forces, we meet this English teacher in Antioch, and he's like, oh well, my family lives outside of the town. My mom loves to make this Kibbe stuff. Why don't you guys come over and you could see how we make it and everything like that. And then for the next like 3 hours, it seemed like we were eating every version of Kibbe.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, like we probably ate Kibbe every day.
Yeah, it just and
Every day.
in different forms because
Every
every
day.
city's got a different version of it. or whatever.
And the good thing is, it just kept getting better in each city as we go, as we proceed. Like today, that
Yeah.
was a whole different thing.
Yeah, like if they didn't say, "Oh, this is Kibbe," I would have looked at the dish and said, "Well, what's this?" Because it didn't look like what we've had in other places. Mezes are,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the appetizers are. It's. I mean, you can like I'm not necessarily want to encourage all vegetarians to sign up for this tour because I mean it can be problematic, but because mezes are usually for the most part vegetarian, you can do pretty good if you just ate mezes for like 10 days here.
Yeah.
I could like eat one kebab at the start of the tour and then mezes and finish up with a kebab at the end of the tour
Oh, yeah.
and probably be happy. I might miss out on some good stuff, but the appetizers here are fantastic. And the hummus, I'm a big hummus guy, and that
Yeah.
hummus we had in Antioch, it was crazy. It was like whipped air. It was so light. I couldn't believe what I was eating, and then I couldn't believe that I would actually have to eat other hummus that's not as good as this later on because it's not like no one else makes this kind of hummus.
He got disappointed after eating that hummus, saying that now I ate this, I'm never gonna eat hummus again in my life this good. What am I going to do now?
It ruined it for me.
It ruined him. Well, and just for the
Kebab.
people that are watching that don't know Turkish cuisine, when they talk about meze, that's basically like, it's not exactly tapas, it's more like antipasto in Italy, where they bring that out like at the beginning of a meal and there's going to be tons of little dishes. And honestly, for me, that's my favorite way to eat in Turkey. I would eat that. And as you said, Andrew, I would eat nothing else if I could just, because I love that. We have a similar thing in Morocco, but for sure in Turkey, like that is such a big part of it. I honestly would just go for meze and just skip the main course personally.
Yeah, and there's enough variety there too.
Yeah.
With everything, and I mean it's
Each
just
city has their
yeah.
own.
I mean it's so. I mean like that's the one thing you have to take a picture of because it's presented so beautifully, so nice, and it's just like here's this little dish and it's got this and it's got this, and you could kind of have like 8 little spoonfuls of stuff on your dish, and then you start mixing them up and you realize they mix well together too, and then you don't know exactly what you're eating. But it's amazing, and when it's hot, because it's been like 90, let's say in Fahrenheit terms, like 93 to 105. So every day, you don't really want some big meaty dish.
But that could be arranged too if you want.
Yeah. So the mezes are really great to for the summertime.
Plus, there's no lack of kebab here around in this region. This is also the kebab region of Turkey. You can find maybe 30 different varieties of the same meat out in the street.
Kebab done in eggplant. We had that was yesterday.
Yeah, kebab eggplant. Yeah.
So here's eggplant, and we put the kebab in the eggplant. I was like, okay, hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
You two are just obviously not having any fun at all. It's just such a shame. So it sounds like you've eaten almost everything in southeastern Turkey, at least. But kebab, that's something that you can find everywhere, right?
Well, I mean, you get. I mean, there's
not this one.
Not this one.
Not this one. Okay. All right.
Well, put it this way: there's a lot of different ways to do kebabs.
Yeah.
Just and by the way, like we don't mean the doner kebabs, which is now kind of like the fast food of Europe.
Yeah.
Where it's the rotating meat and you slice it down. I mean, yeah, you can get that too. But
we never actually tasted that.
Yeah, no, we haven't tried that at all since we've been here. Because I mean, I can get that at you walk out of a club drunk at 3 a.m. and get that on any street in any city.
Berlin is good.
Yeah. I think Berlin is the doner kebab. So these are different, and they're you get something more than just something wrapped. You don't get something wrapped up, and you always get you're going to get some baked or roasted tomatoes,
bell peppers.
Oh, chili.
Onions.
I love hot food, and there's so like almost all the chilies they serve are actually like spicy hot.
Yeah,
That's why the waiter cuts you a little sliver, just to start you off with, because he doesn't want you just chomping right into it, because it's really spicy stuff. So if you like spicy, and then there's all these spices too. So it's not, they put out a little tray of 4 or 5 spices, and it could be Could be thyme, could be oregano, could be sumac, could be crushed chili pepper that's hot or not hot.
You could have pistachios in your meat.
Yeah.
Ground pistachios could be also one of the ingredients in the kebab that you're eating too.
Yeah.
That sounds very Sicilian, actually. So we do that in Sicily too. So Andrew, this is your first trip to Turkey, right?
No, it's my first trip outside of Istanbul. I was in Istanbul like 7 years ago. So I kind of said I've been to Turkey, but really I've just been to Istanbul.
Okay.
So so I had heard all the things I had heard about Turkey. It's like, well, some of that I kind of felt in Istanbul, but Istanbul, like you said, it's an amazing metropolis, but it's a metropolis, and you can't really judge the rest of you can't say I felt the Turkish lifestyle by just hanging out in that massive metropolis.
So because it's essentially your first trip
Yeah.
to Turkey outside of, I mean, to the country of Turkey, that's
Yeah.
technically Europe anyway. So now you're in Asian Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So tell me, like, what, other than the hospitality, what has struck you the most? What are kind of the things you're going to remember the most about your visit?
You know what I've noticed is, like, not everyone speaks English, but lots of young people do. What I've kind of noticed is it made me feel like maybe traveling 20 years ago in a lot of places in Europe, where it's actually fun to communicate when not everyone speaks English fluently, or like you meet some kid in the marketplace who was, I don't know, 8 years old, and he's like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm from America." Like, "What about you?" He's like, "I'm from Syria."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah blah blah.
Here's some pistachios.
Here's some pistachios. Try them. You know, like that. Like or we're waiting at this neighbor's place. We went to go meet these neighbors that served us all this amazing food. And while we're waiting to get our taxi back, the kids come out. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like a 15-year-old and her cousin, and they're just, and she's like, oh, I speak some English, and then she speaks, really nice English.
Really
wants
nice.
to tell us what's going on, and we're talking to them, like that kind of feeling of like, because like I don't feel like a tourist, and it feels like we're actually exchanging something, not just money or hey, take a picture of me. It's like something that's been missing for a while, because every place is so touristy, everyone just speaks English, and everything's so easy. It's not difficult here at all, but it's just more fun. And when you actually can go talk to some kids, or kids come up to you and just want to start talking, that's cool. That's like something I haven't felt in a long time. So that's something that's felt very different from almost all my European travels I've been doing for so long.
So Thailand, then, this area that you guys are in Turkey, in the southeast, is it something that doesn't get a lot of visitors? Is that why you might have that feeling?
We do have. The thing is, we have the Turkish TV series. They're super popular all around Turkey and also outside of Turkey, especially in the Middle East. So these TV series, like kind of like soap operas, and they do take. In the past, there were some of them that took place in these beautiful houses and in these cities. So because of that, there's a certain number of Turkish travelers coming and visiting here, together with some Middle Eastern attraction, people coming as an important TV location, kind of a visit for them. But of course, as people come and see, they wanna just tell how beautiful this is. And yes, we do have a Turkish interests, Turkish tours coming here, but foreign interest is catching up. Let's put it that way. So it's not as touristy as the other parts of Turkey. That is also something that, I mean, like, we've been to this museum this morning. It was, or we've been to another museum today, this afternoon. Perfect setting with almost no one in it.
Oh,
I mean, it's a beautiful building, brand new. Everything is done according to the book, but there's almost no one, literally no one in there. I mean, even this morning or this afternoon, it's all yours, because Turkish people, they want to go out, eat, and just hang around and go visit some of the highlights and the museums. Yeah, I mean,
or the rest, they really don't care. But when you go out in the marketplace, you see locals a lot, unlike in some parts of Istanbul. When you go out, you see more visitors rather than locals. So here you see locals more. Also Turks. I mean, you can also Turkish visitors. You can also count them as locals.
Yeah, I mean the street life here is it's busy. There's lots of people going on, but it's mostly locals. In Istanbul, when I was in Istanbul, when I started, it was Russians, then probably Turks,
Yeah.
Gulf state or Saudi people, and then a few Americans. In Cappadocia was definitely more Europeans, Russians, and a little bit of English-speaking people. And then here, I think we didn't meet. We saw 2 or 3 women in one of the towns that were American, and that was it. Like I just overheard them. But it doesn't mean like, oh, there's no one here. But it's just a lot of local people. So not everything is in here is based on tourism. It's just based on local people, maybe from different towns around here, going shopping, going to eat. It's very lively. It's not like it's a ghost town. It's super lively,
Yeah.
and it's mainly Turkish.
Yeah, I mean, there was an interest before a couple of years ago because of the pandemic. That may have been going down, but it always catches up again. But it's still early in the stage that we can say this is a place which is still waiting for more people to come and discover.
All right. And so Thailand, just in general, how has tourism been in Turkey? I mean, is it starting to open up? Do you see people from?
Yeah. I mean, we have been vaccinating people ever since January. Even little before than that, they started vaccinating people in the medical industry. So people working for health system, they started vaccinations a little before than that. But nowadays, I think it's down to 20, the age of 20, almost down to age of 20. And they are getting their first shots not right now, but like the healthcare staff, they're getting their third shots now. So it means that almost 60% of the population that is out in the street working, and between the age of 20 and 50 is 65, actually 65%, I can say, is vaccinated. That actually helps us to be out in the street more, life getting back to normal, and that is also affecting us with tourism and numbers coming into Turkey as well. Yeah, it's catching up and it's recovering. Let's put it that way. Especially during summer, we get a lot of interest.
So right now it is possible for Americans to come without any problem. They just need to be vaccinated, or do they need a PCR test? What is the rule?
If you are vaccinated with 2 doses, and if you have your vaccination card, they won't be asking for a PCR test.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'll be asking for a PCR test. That would be 72 hours. Yeah, within 72 hours, you have to just.
One thing that's interesting about that, Turkey has a system that I haven't seen yet anywhere else in Europe, is so before I came here, I flew from Croatia to here, and the woman at the check-in said, "Oh, do you have your health code, Turkey health code thing?" And I was like, "Oh crap, no." It's like, "Okay, don't worry, just go sit down over there, download the app, get your, put in your information, get the health code, and when you get to Turkey, not only do you
Can you see this?
Yeah, kind of.
Each person has this QR code now.
Yeah. So you not just when you arrive at the airport, or if you came through train or bus, but okay, you check into your hotel, and there's thing. I think I used it on my bus too. I think
going into museums, going into hotels, going into like malls or any kind of indoor public place. The QR code says if you've been vaccinated or not, or if you have been in a risky condition, like someone with if you've been together with someone with that has positive, that tested positive or not. That also has that information.
Wait, so tell me then, so this Turkish app, how do you plug in your health information into it then? Because you're not from Turkey, obviously. So how do they verify that
No,
you?
I filled in. Yeah, I filled in. Now I wish I would have done a screen capture, and I don't, because I don't remember all the information I filled in. But I had to answer questions, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, because I have a Slovenian app that basically has my vaccination certificate information on it, and that didn't transfer over because I don't think they talk. But I answered the questions and put in the information and where where I was prior, like, okay, in the last 10 days before you're entering Turkey today, where have you been? You know, which, because I think right now, like, maybe UK is still off limits or something like that, because people were saying there's no Brits right now because all the Brits, I think it's because England wants to quarantine people when they come back to Turkey. But anyway, they ask questions like that as well. And then all of that information is like, I have it on a PDF, so I just open the PDF and show it to people, and it's got all that in English.
He also has a QR code. You don't have to have the app.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the app. You just get that PR code, that QR code. I'm sorry, QR code, and all you need to do is just show that QR code, and that's it. I mean, if you even have the screen capture of the QR code, that will also be enough on your phone, or even printed out version.
Okay, so Americans that are visiting have access to this. Then they can create their own QR code.
Everyone visiting.
Everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
so
really good idea.
I mean, if you were doing this in the EU, and I mean, you said, you don't even have to have an app. If they just did the same thing, where after you're done filling it out, you get the QR code plus this information, what you put in, then anyone, regardless of what country you're visiting, could whatever, scan that or know something about you, which I think is a good idea.
That makes it easy for you to travel around in Turkey too.
Yeah, that's really nice. So then are you asked for that when you go, let's say, for food, or when you go, I mean, where are you asked to show that? Hotel check-in?
Definitely hotels.
Mhm.
Did we, I think we did it. We did it at the museum in Antioch? Did we do it at a couple museums?
Some of the museums.
I think some of the bigger museums, we showed it to them. I think I showed it to, I did one overnight bus and then like a 4-hour bus ride. And I had that as well. Oh, and by the way, the buses here in Turkey, it's like being on an airplane. Like, once the bus gets going, the guy comes down with the cart. He's like, oh, you want a free water? Here's you want salty snacks or sweet snacks or some cookies? Just take whatever you want out of my cart, and then there's more water in the back. So if you forgot to get your bottle of water before you get on the bus, you just, like, anytime you want, you go back there and grab stuff. And I was like, okay, this is strange, but I'm no complaints about that.
There's no lack of tea in this country.
Yeah. And there's always tea. There's always free tea going. So yeah, it was like, hey, bus travel's all right here.
Andrew, I think you're going to have to write a guidebook to bus travel around the world, because I know that's your favorite.
Exactly. Bus travel and sleeping on couches. That'll be fine.
Sleeping on couches.
Yeah, exactly. You've been sleeping on couches, huh? That doesn't surprise.
Well, I've been looking for a couch to sleep on, but Thailand thinks it's terribly funny that I like sleeping on couches.
He does. Yeah, like when we were in Florence, he slept on the couch.
I go and check out his room, and I say, oh, if you have a couch, there you go. That room is good for you with the couch.
Actually, yeah, the Antioch hotel, I did have a couch, and I slept on it one of the nights, and I was like, oh, this is great, like being back home again.
A little bit TMI, my friend. But okay. Hey, there's a great question from a viewer, just to change the subject a little bit. How conservative is Turkey in regards to women and dress codes?
Let's put it this way. Did we have any issues anywhere?
No.
With I mean, like.
Well, you're not women, so we'll just say that.
I know, but I'm just looking at it from as an outsider. In Antioch, you see women walking out on the street with short shorts, dresses. But in Urfa, you don't see that. You see, in another city, you see women more covered up.
It's more city by. I mean, like, what I've observed is more kind of city by city. Like Antioch and is Mardin. More Mardin are more liberal, and Urfa and Gaziantep are more conservative. But even in any of those cities, you would find, like, okay, that looks like Turkish, but, like, the the wife or the whatever, the young woman's got some stuff wrapped up. You definitely see a few, but not lots of fully covered people. That was probably more yesterday in Urfa. But I will see at it like yesterday. This is interesting. So yesterday we're in this Urfa city, which is a little bit more conservative. In the old town, everyone's much more conservative, and probably more people fully covered, or like most women, not wearing what you would wear in Seattle or anywhere in Europe. But we drive 10 minutes out to kind of where the middle class hangs out to get ice cream, like outside of a mall. And if you looked at everyone sitting there, you wouldn't say, "Oh, I must be in Turkey." Then you see everything. The woman next to us, she had like jean shorts on, and a tank top. So, and I think it's that, like, certain people, I mean, classes or what neighborhood you're in, it's different. So like those are just observations, but I couldn't, since I don't live here, I have no idea more on like how women are viewed or treated.
I think it's more about a question more about like female foreigners visiting Turkey.
Yeah.
So as I said, each region has their own different approach in terms of everything, like to look to life, let's put it that way. But here in the Southeast, I would say it is very safe. People really don't like to stare at other people. So no one will be like staring at you if you are wearing shorts in this town or in a
mosque, or I mean, at least in the courtyard.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a mosque, I mean, if you're in a mosque, let's put it this way: if you're going to visit religious sites, it really doesn't have to be a mosque. Even the churches here will be asking the same thing. Just dress modestly. That's what they will be asking.
Yeah.
I mean, no shorts. Usually, shorts on until knees will be okay for both man and woman. By the way, it's not only woman. But if you're wearing something shorter than that, they'll give you something. If you're going to visit a mosque, they'll give you a scarf if you need one, which normally in these small mosques you don't. But in bigger ones, they might be asking because there are people praying in there with a bigger crowd. But I don't think that that will be much of a concern. I would say like Istanbul. I mean, like any other city, you can walk around as a female and not have any problems. But like in Urfa, I would say dress modestly in Urfa, because it's a conservative city and they are proud with their different prophets living and being there. So they're like more religiously conservative, but nothing will happen to you. I mean, it will be just, you won't be feeling as comfortable going into the religious sites if you're not wearing any modest clothing.
Well, and I think that that's kind of consistent with my experience in Turkey, which is that I tend not to dress super sexy when I'm traveling in places that I know are kind of like a little more conservative. And it's just common sense, I mean, I don't think when you're traveling in Turkey, you should wear tube tops and hot pants. Personally, I wouldn't wear that at home. I wouldn't even wear that to the beach. So I would say, dress the way you need to dress. You don't need to wear anything on your head. I know that some places that I've been, like Egypt, it's good to have a scarf just in case. But in Turkey, I've never felt like that was necessary. So I would say, dress the way you would at home, unless you dressed in tube tops and hot pants on a regular basis, right?
And I'm not sure those people are the people that are usually going on our tours, but you never know.
You never know. So yeah, so I mean, I always think that, especially when it's warm, I think it's really smart to bring maybe capri length pants or dresses. I mean, if you're a woman, I love wearing dresses, and they always look nice. They always look respectable. So and it's air conditioning. So that's what I would recommend. But when you guys are doing that tour, what time of year are you doing it?
That's late September. So yeah, so just because it's hot as hell right now, although I have to say, because it's dry, it's a dry heat, and two, there's usually breezes. It's actually less severe than I thought, than I was expecting. But when we're going to run it next year, it's going to be what, two months later.
Call to prayer is going to start now. You might hear this.
or I'm waiting.
But like on the other hand, where I live, if as a woman, if you're wearing bikini tops on the street, that's perfectly fine too, because it's a beach town.
Sure.
So people will be like staring at you if you're wearing very heavy clothing. Hearing this?
So if you've never been to Turkey or to a Muslim country, this is the thing that will surprise you.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
How long do this last?
It lasts long,
Okay.
like almost 3 minutes.
Okay.
And a second one is going to start now. It's going to last about like 3 minutes, or 2 minutes.
Somebody just asked a
Can you
question.
hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you.
We'll get close. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah, no problem. Actually, even when you were sitting back, but your faces look kind of funny.
But we cannot hear you.
Yeah. Like, what was that?
Okay, well,
We're
no, I
sitting
just
right
want to
next to
answer one question about the clothing. Somebody asked, is sleeveless okay? Yes, sleeveless is okay. I tend to wear sleeveless tops, but you can still dress, reasonably conservative with tops. And then, of course, the call to prayer is one of those things I think that is a big surprise for people that have never traveled in a Muslim country, because it's like an alarm clock, right? What time does it start, Thailand?
I think around this time, because it follows lunar calendar, 4:30, I believe. Here, 4:30, because we're on the very eastern edge.
But you could kind of tune it out one morning, because we were one morning we were right next to it, and I woke up the next morning,
You don't
just slept right through it. So
That could also be the effect of rakı that we had.
yeah, that might have been other things.
The drink.
Yeah. Could be out all night, like playing drums that catch on fire and drinking raka and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have a feeling you guys have been having fun. So, all right. So the last question I want to ask is, what is the most fun thing that you've done? What
Once
is
again,
the most fun thing that you two have done together?
what is the most fun thing that we did?
Huh.
What would you say?
Well, I thought it was real. I thought that going to that neighbor's place was really fun.
Yeah,
because it was
Going to
unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
Going to this people we never met, these locals who live out in the suburbs, that just offered us all this stuff and come visit our house and all this stuff, and meet our neighbors and meet the kids who live in the building and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was, I like anything that's unpredictable, that's unexpected, and that was definitely unexpected.
Also, eating baklava for breakfast was the best part.
I would like that personally. I was hoping you could just send it through the screen to me somehow. That looked really good. I do like baklava. So dessert for
Yeah,
breakfast.
that was exceptional baklava, because I don't crave baklava, and that was definitely the best baklava I've had, and the most baklava I've ever eaten. There's like 4 or 5 different versions. It was all really, really good.
Cool. So you guys have had a really good time. So what's next? Are you done? What's next?
We have one more day tomorrow. We might be live streaming a little pizza and wine.
Why are you giving out a little secret?
But we're not gonna say anything more than that. It might seem strange, but we might be having some non-Turkish food and some red wine tomorrow. But that'll be its own story when it happens.
All right. So we're going to be covering Turkey then for one additional day for those of you that are watching. More adventures with Taylan and Andrew. And Andrew, I think you need to get Taylan the Statler and Waldorf t-shirt, right? Because you two look like Statler and Waldorf.
Yes, exactly. I'll explain.
You'll
It's
explain.
two characters from the Muppet Show.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because you two are, you two are cracking me up.
I mean, for people, if there's anyone that knows me from the past, now I'm Thailand the Gray. So, yeah, that could be.
Thailand the Gray?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Look at
You're
it.
still a baby, Thailand. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like It's like talk to the real gray one, buddy.
I do think that all of my friends are older than me. It makes me feel like a baby. Good strategy. You can make friends that way.
But also one last thing, we've also had a lot of fun because we had his uncle on the road trip with us, and he's like, you know,
Where is he?
yeah, I don't know.
He's somewhere
Yeah,
there.
he's gone. He's gone missing. But he's great because
You lost Helen's uncle.
yeah, well, I think he's just down in his room, and rather than coming up here. But you know, he's like he doesn't talk a lot, but he's always got some interesting thing to say, and he seems to be laughing at all the bizarre humor that the two of us come up with. So you're not sure, like, you know, like, is he real serious? Is he thinking we're like a bunch of young idiots? But
He might.
yeah, he might, but he doesn't tell us that. So that's been a lot of fun. So it's been like I'd say, maybe to answer your question, the whole road trip aspect has been fun because we've had a car, so we can go wherever we want and stop here and see this, and so that's just fun to do because it gives you the sense of freedom. So it hasn't been completely scripted. We didn't script it too much. Kind of like what we'd like to do with the tour. We don't want to. Everything doesn't have to be so exact of here's what we're doing. And we found plenty of things that a week ago that we didn't know that we'd want to put in the tour that we'll have in the tour. So that's good.
Cool. Well, tough job you two have doing tour research. Why did you bring your uncle, Taylan? I didn't know you were going to bring him.
Because he wasn't been in this area, and I said, would you mind if I just call him? And he said, yeah, why not? And it's too warm for him to be somewhere else, but he picked to be with us in a much warmer area just because he wants to explore around here too. It's been maybe more than 30 years that he hasn't been to any of these places. Plus he's a doctor. It's good to have a doctor with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
And it worked.
Yeah, I hear that.
Paid off.
Yes.
Andrew availed himself of his services, right?
The doctor insurance, and he's driven somewhat. He's driven a few times.
Yeah.
So Taylan gets a break from driving, and we put Uncle in the car, and you know.
I'm kind of sorry that you guys didn't have like a GoPro on the dash, because I want to hear like your in-car conversations, because I bet they were funny.
No, you don't want to.
Oh, I don't want to. Okay.
The funny jokes we had, but then I'm glad I can't recall them because
we might get arrested. Just kidding.
Well, this delights the heck out of me. I have to say, you know, Reed and I always talk about this idea of symbiosis, where it's just like two people who you would have never thought putting together would work, but actually it works great. So I have never thought of putting you two together, but hey, look at that. It works out really great. You guys are like, you need like a buddy movie now, like some sort of like road trip. You need to take like a road trip through Syria or something like that and like film it for a buddy
that could
movie.
be arranged if you want.
That could be arranged. Yes, exactly. That we definitely need the GoPro dash cam to record whatever might happen to us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like the Grand Tour, like Top Gear kind of style buddy movie, like driving through places you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can never meet before and then hook up and spend 8 days traveling around together in hot weather, like that's pretty good. You know, that means you're a good match traveling with each other. So
cool. Well, I'm very happy to see that that's working out. So, well, you guys, it has been a delight to talk to you, but it actually makes me terribly sorry that I'm not with you, because I was supposed to be with you when we were supposed to do this in May. Next time. All right. Well, that makes me
or when
sad.
Italy gets their shit together.
Yeah, it just makes me sad. I'm missing out on all the fun and all the terribly tasteless jokes. I'm good at tasteless jokes also. So you're making me very jealous.
I think that would be, that would, because if you were in the back sometimes with, you know, like the three of us doing jokes and then the uncle with some of the reactions or just some quip or something, that could be comedy gold, you know.
That will be amazing.
The best part would be if we threw Roberto Becchi into the mix, then we'd have like truly like the most funny movie ever. Because yeah, He's also
Exactly.
common cold.
What happens when you stick 4 tour guides and like the uncle in a car and drive to Syria? There's only one way to find out.
That will be next episode of
Yeah.
our.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, my friends, I'm going to let you go. It sounds like you've got
Okay.
some rocco to drink. Are you going to go out and party and go out and listen to music now?
Well, yeah, we can actually.
Yeah. We can do that. I think there's some places will serve us.
We're not. Yeah, we're not going to.
Party.
We're not
Have
going
a
to
good
tell
band from all the places.
what we're
Yeah,
going to do. I mean,
exactly.
it's between the three of us that we're going to go out and let's see what's going to happen.
And what's for
Whatever
dinner?
happens here stays here in Mardin.
Yeah, something light, because we had this like amazing lunch with mezes and then four different main dishes that we shared and what have you. So I think it's going to be something light for dinner.
Yeah, we can get like lahmacun, maybe like the very thin bread with minced meat on it.
Yep.
You said like it's like New York style.
Yeah, like thinner than New York style pizza even. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
probably
we'll get
something. That and a
Sure.
beer, I think,
Yeah,
we'll be good to go.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good evening. I wish I could just jump through the screen and go and hang out and have a beer with you guys. So have a beer for me while you're there and eat some yummy
We
food.
will. We shall.
And I am very, very much looking forward to seeing you, Thailand. I'm going to try to get to Turkey as soon as I can so we can work on our tour.
Whatever you want. You know that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to get over there at some point so we can do our own road trip without you, Andrew. Because it's not fair. But for those of you watching, if you'd like to travel with Statler and Waldorf or with me and Thailand, you have some options. So Thailand and I are going to premiere our Coastal Turkey tour in October of next year. And if that fills up, then we're also going to offer one in September before that. And you've got Foodie Turkey in September and October, or just September?
Just once. It's September, I think 22nd to October 2nd. So right before the Coastal Turkey you and Thailand are doing. And if we add a second Coastal Turkey tour, it'll be right afterwards. So if you know, and the first one, the October Coastal Turkey, is definitely selling very well. So if you want to get on that, like, do it now. Otherwise, you could always combine both of these together depending on which one you do first and second. So.
Yeah, so the Foodie Turkey one, you guys are about half sold, and I think our tour Thailand is getting close to full, I think.
Yeah.
And what are we maxing out on? What are the number of people we're maxing out on?
Probably 14 or 15 on
14 or 15.
on both.
Okay, so if you want to travel with Thailand and I, sign up quickly. If you want to travel with the two of them, probably more fun, to be honest. You should also probably sign up soon for those. So thank you.
Do both.
Or do, but why not both? I mean, come on.
Why not both?
Exactly.
We could Sarah and I could overlap for a day, so all three of us could triangulate the power together.
That might be too much fun. I think there may not be enough rocco in all of Turkey for that kind of a meeting. So
We'll find it. No worries.
all right.
This dude will know where it is.
Very good, my friends. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks for everybody watching Copy Chat. We are going to, again, have tomorrow more coverage of Turkey if you are interested. And if you haven't seen any of the Turkey stuff, just go ahead and scroll back through my feed and you can see all the fun things that Andrew and Taylan have been doing. So happy research, you guys. I'm so happy to see you. And I'm more happy to see how happy you are to be together. So it's wonderful. Mwah. We'll see you guys again soon. Ciao.
Goodbye.